Priest Lake is the northernmost of the big lakes in Idaho's panhandle. It's got a reputation as a great sports fishery. Last year, over 20,000 lake trout, or Mackinaw, were caught in the lake. In our next story, we'll try our luck. The clear waters of Priest Lake reflect the exact shade of the sky, a solid ceiling of low-gray clouds. The wind is barely stirring as the boat leaves the dock, a hopeful sign that the weather will hold.
The only time the weather really starts bothering us is if it gets real windy, and like where we're fishing now, I want to be real concentrated on where I fish. I know how far off the shoreline I have to be. I know what area of the lake I need to be in. And if the wind starts blowing and blows me way out there in the middle or something like that, then I'm fishing at where the wind wants me to fish and not where I want to fish.
Outfitter Gary Brookshire runs a fishing guide business on Priest Lake. He boasts that he's never, ever been skunked, and fortunately for us today is no exception.
Got him. A lot of excitement. I mean, you hook up a big fish up here, you know, a 25-pound fish, you'll have him on the line for 30 minutes or so, and it's just a straight up and straight down pull. They like it down where it's steep and cold. They don't like to come up. When you first turn one of these fish up after you hook him up, he turns right tail to the sky and tries to swim back down. Okay, here he comes. Little guy.
The fish isn't the big lunker hoped for, but it's a start.
Yep, that's a laker. This is a Priest River fly. It's made here locally in Priest River. Then we're using a Les Davis herring dodger. We just stick that cut bait on there like that. That's a single-aught dodger we're using. Little scent. This is licorice. What we're going to do is we're going to put that out behind the boat. Usually run it about 10 to 15 feet back.
Mackinaw prefer to cruise the bottom here at Priest Lake, and that can mean as deep as 360 feet. This is where a curious contraption called a downrigger comes in.
These downriggers automatically track the bottom. So as the bottom changes, the downrigger will move up and down by itself. If they're deep, we can work them deep. If they're up shallower, of course, meaning shallow, I'm meaning 110 feet. So we can fish that. We've been doing real good in here the last couple of days, had some real nice fish up in the 10, 12 pound range. So we're gonna give that a shot.
For the guests, it's relaxing, rocking gently in a boat surrounded by the scenic Selkirk Mountains. But what about the guide? He never seems to stop moving, constantly checking the lines, the wind, and the fish finder.
What do I like about doing this? Well, I get to spend about 200, 220 days outside. I mean, you know, there's good days and bad days when the weather's bad. That's not always pleasant, but for the most part, you know, I'm not sitting in an office. There's no phone ringing out here.
Gary considers storytelling a requirement of his job as a fishing guide. Of course, there are the classic fish tales, you know, you should have been here yesterday anecdotes, but he also related a bit about the history of the lake. The legend goes that a missionary was crossing the lake for a meeting with a tribe of Native Americans when a storm came up, capsizing his boat and drowning him. The Indians then referred to the lake as Kaniksu, which translates to Black Robe in English. Then, when a railroad was built in the area in 1890, it was renamed Priest Lake.
I've fished people from all 50 states. I've had people on here from Australia, New Zealand, Japan, China, Canada, France, England, Sweden. You know, you get a good mix of people. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a different story, and you know, you answer the same question 50 times, but there's always somebody that's interested in what's going on, and you get to learn a lot about people that way. I really enjoy it. And we always see them at their best. I mean, it's hard to have a bad day fishing, you know. It's a fish. He's a little guy.